Hello you guys, today I'm going to be telling you guys how and what happened. So, I'm going to tell you guys the entire story from beginning to end, what had just happened. So, yeah, let's get started. So, on the 23rd and 24th, I was at my friend Sarah's house. She has a YouTube channel, Sarah Loves 9, link in the description. Yeah, subscribe to her and to me. And she lost her charger, and she had just found it a couple weeks ago. And I hadn't ridden it in I don't know how long, around 6 months or something like that. And so I thought I could just like jump back into it. So I couldn't, and so I was trying to ride it again, and this was in her garage, and I fell off of it. Started to like vibrate and shake, and then I fell off. And this happened. Well, not exactly this. I just like fell, didn't think anything of it. I thought I was fine. My butt hurt a little bit, like every person's. When they fall, my hand hurt a little bit from catching myself. So that happened, and then a couple hours later, my foot started to hurt. I didn't care. So I was like, oh, whatever, 1 or 2 days, whatever. I'll just stay off of it. And so that happened. And 1 week went by, still was hurting. And during that week, I had a gymnastics camp that I couldn't miss because I loved it so much. I didn't want to miss it anyways, so I just went with it, didn't care, just like, you know what, whatever, I'll just have to deal. So I dealt with it throughout the week, and it still hurt after the week was over and after the weekend, when I had tried to stay off of it as much as possible. There's a whole bunch of TV and stuff in the background. So after I dealt with it, I told my mom, and she's like, okay, we'll get it x-rayed. So we couldn't get it x-rayed on Monday. Told her again on Tuesday, and we got it x-rayed today. So we got to the hospital, and that's like 6 or 7 miles away from my house, so it's pretty far away from my house. So we drove to the hospital, and we went in. I told them what happened. They took my blood pressure and all that stuff, like normal hospital things. And then we sat in the waiting room for like 15 minutes, something like that. And I was on my phone the entire time. By the way, my hospital has really bad reception, just letting you guys know. So that happened. And so we got called back, and the lady was like, oh, okay, so what happened, all that stuff. And she basically just said, like, well, it doesn't look like you're limping too bad or anything like that, so it shouldn't be broken. Okay, whatever, take my weight, whatever. Go back into the waiting room. Guy calls me back, my doctor calls me back from the hospital, my doctor at the hospital calls me back, and he takes me to the x-ray room. I got x-rayed, and he's like, okay, well, we'll let you know. Okay. So the lady that was talking to me before, she walked me to the other side of the hospital, and I was limping the entire way there. I was like kind of walking, if I can move my camera this way. So I was like kind of walking like this the entire way there. And the doctor that sorry, I had to crack my neck. So the doctor that was there, he didn't think that I was limping more than just me walking funny. So he was like, oh, I didn't see you limping. I was like, okay, sure, I wasn't limping. So it's then after he leaves, he's like, probably half an hour goes by when me and my mom are just sitting there. At this point, we've been sitting there for 45 minutes. No one's come in. Then this lady comes in, and she wants my information so that way the next time I come to the hospital, aka next summer when I hurt myself again. So watch out for this video next summer, because I almost guarantee that is gonna happen. I don't try to hurt myself; it just happens. So she wanted to know my information so that way the next time I came to the hospital, I didn't have to fill out any paperwork. So after that, again, another 15-20 minutes goes by, still sitting there. At this point, I have to use the bathroom because I drank tea before I went in, and I was drinking tea in the car, so I had to use the bathroom. And my mom walked out to the lady, and she's like, my daughter has to use the bathroom. Can she use the bathroom before you guys come in? And she's like, oh, let me do this because I have her stuff right here. It's like, okay. So she's like, okay. So she puts my wrap on, which I currently have my boot on because I've been walking around the house. But my wrap is under here. It's like a tan color, not as tan as my skin though. And then I have and then she puts this black boot on, this black boot. And she didn't tell me how long I had to wear it, so I'm just gonna wear it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever. Maybe a month at the most if my foot still hurts. So she told me what happened. She's like, well, we looked at your x-rays and you sprained your foot and you bruised some of the muscles. It's like, okay, kind of what I was expecting, because I don't know, I was just expecting it to be sprained or broken, or I don't know, one of those. So I was kind of expecting it. I didn't really care, and she's just like, well, this is your stuff, this is how you wrap it. And obviously I still don't know how to wrap it because so we walk back to the bathrooms, which are like down the hall. So we walk to the bathrooms, I use the bathroom, we go out, because there's like 2 different parts of the hospital. There's the emergency care, which I was in right when I got to the hospital, and then there's the patient center where they have appointments. So when we went through this like back hallway, we went from the emergency patient care thing to the patient center where they had appointments. So we had no clue how to map our way back because that was only our second time going to the hospital. So we just went out the front door, came around, and back to the emergency care. So we met up with my sister and my grandma, and we just drove back home, and we were looking over the papers on what I had to do and all that stuff. So what I have to do now is elevate my foot when I'm sitting down. Already breaking that rule. So elevate my foot when I'm sitting down. I sit every night and every morning. And 2 other things I forgot. And I have to do that for the next 2 weeks. So I also have to walk around in this. And I'm allowed to walk around in it. I'll have to wear sneakers on this foot because this is really tall, and when I wear my flip-flops, it's not as tall as my flip-flops. So I look like I'm limping when I'm really just trying to walk like a normal person. So yeah, and I'm really happy that I don't have crutches because if you guys remember, I think a year ago or almost 2 years ago, something like that, I fractured my growth plate and I had crutches, and they were the worst thing ever. I'm not going to get into that story. You guys can go watch that video. I had crutches and it was terrible. So I'm glad that I didn't have to have crutches this time around. So I can walk on it perfectly fine. It shouldn't be too long. I should have it on for 2-3 weeks, something like that, before I could take it off and walk around with just this on. So that's the full story. So this is my life now. I can take this off to get in the shower and the pool and all that other stuff, but I have to be very, very careful. I can't walk around the pool, so I have to like swim everywhere and then butt scoot to my chair. So that's what my life's gonna be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. So she has a hoverboard because she got one for her birthday or Christmas or one of